Due to the Wi-Fi signal in Billy's hotel, in places the quality of the audio is not the best.
Right, welcome to another episode of the old Paratrooper Podcast. Today I'm joined with former Parachute Regiment soldier and SAS trooper, Mark Billingham. How you doing, Billy?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
Not bad, thank you. Thank you very much for making the time to come on the podcast. I know you're very, very busy, so I appreciate it.
No, you're welcome, Chris. I mean, we've tried 10 times, I think, haven't we? It's just the diaries just haven't amalgamated, but now, finally, we're here.
Yeah, finally, pal. But like I say, I know you're a busy boy, pal, so like I say, I just appreciate you making the time. What I like to do, all podcasters, like I said before, I'm sure you've been on many, many podcasts. I like to start at the beginning and find out, kind of like about your childhood and what led you on to follow the career that you did.
Yeah, I was born in the West Midlands, mid-60s, 1965, in fact, into a very poor family in a place called Walsall, a little market town. I'm one of 5 children. I have an older sister, older brother, younger sister. I was the middle child, and although we're a very poor family, the area was very poor, it was a very loving family. I just, for whatever reason, being a middle child, as anyone knows that as or is a middle child, we're a little bit different. And right from the off, around about 9 years old, when I really started to pick up my story, I started to go rogue. I started to get into a lot of trouble. In the area where I lived, it was all gangs. And, I remember seeing the older guys, tattoos on their face, been in and out of Borstal, 18, 19-year-olds. And they had a name and a reputation. And as a young kid, wrongly, as I know now, I thought that was who I wanted to be. I wanted to be somebody that everyone knew. So I formed my own little gang. And basically what I used to do was steal trilby hats and off old men. For whatever reason, to this day, I still don't know why I did it, but I did. Yeah, and I used to have my 2 little mates who'd work with me. They'd distract the old man. I'd run up his back, steal the hat and leg it. Did it all the time. Thought it was funny. And then one day, this old man, I didn't realise must have been a sprinter in his younger youth. So I ran off with his hat and he fucking chased me. And he kept up with me. My 2 mates legged it. I'm on my own. And he cornered me. And rather than give me a good hiding, he said to me, "Look, I don't come closes in on me. I'm panicking. I don't know what to do. I'm 9 years old and I jump into a boxing stance. Never boxed in my life." And the old man said, "Look," he just stood up. He said, "Keep the hat." He said, "There's something about you. I want you to come to my boxing gym." And I'll never forget it. And I didn't know what to do. So of course I said, "Yeah." I threw the hat at him and I legged it. Anyway, for some bizarre reason, to this day I'll never know why I did it, something said to me to go to that gym. This happened on a Sunday, right? I'm 9 years old. It's in February. You got to picture the scene. It's now Monday, 7 o'clock at night when it says the gym starts. It's in a pub downtown in Walsall where I live. I'm 9 years old. I walked 3 miles in the snow, in the dark, on my own, to meet an old man that I stole from at the back of a pub. Think it was bizarre. And if you said your kid was going to do that, you'd be like, "Oh, no fucking chance." But whatever reason, I did. And the old man took me inside. I was petrified initially. He took me inside, and I didn't know what to expect. But as I got in there's all these kids, roughly about my age, little gangs, kids that I've been fighting with, all boxing training. And I thought, this is great. And then while I was doing he introduced me, put me in with these kids, and then he took me to one side after a bit. And his words to me, I'll never forget. And I remember very clear for many reasons. And he took me to one side. He said, "Listen here." He said, "I want to tell you about boxing." I said, "Okay." He said, "Boxing is not a sport of brutality. Boxing is a poor man's game of chess." And I'm looking at him. He said, "It's about having respect for yourself, for the person in front of you, for the sport." He said, "It's about anticipating what's in front of you and being one step ahead of it, one step ahead of the move," which I got. And he said, "I'll tell you something else." He goes, "There'll come a time when you're boxing," he said, "you'll feel like the chips are down, you can't go any further." He said, "That's the time you have to, in your mind, say, I ain't going to give up. I can go further. I will go a little bit further." Those was his words to me. Never forget it. Anyway, so I remember that, and I stayed with the boxing club. I'm going to jump forward 20 years. 20 years later, I joined the SAS. The clock tower in the SAS on the bottom of the clock tower, where all the names are of the fallen comrades, as you probably know, is the collect, and the final line underneath is always a little further. So I remembered it from 9 years old when I joined before I went to B Squad. I went and paid my respect out that clock, because I knew a few guys, ex-reg lads, who unfortunately been killed and put on the clock. And I read it, and the fucking nerves on the back of my head, or the hairs on the back of my head, stood up. And I went back to that 9-year-old kid. So going back to the story, so I was growing up in this sort of environment. I was going rogue at the age of 11. I caught for the first time, actually the only time, but being, charged ABH, GBH, because I'm fucking getting in loads of trouble. Stupid. Then at the age of 13, or in between the 11 and 13, while I've been in trouble with the police, going rogue, I'm still boxing, and I find the cadets through my brother, who said, look, I'm in this cadets, it's a miniature military thing, come to it. So I did. I went to it, and I loved it. I love the old-fashioned discipline. The guy running it was a no-nonsense dude. You stood out line, you got a slap around the head, fucking put back in line. And I thought, I like this. But I was learning. He was a Marine cadets, in fact. I was learning, fucking weapons, signals, all this stuff, medical stuff. And I thought, I'm not academic. I understand this. I can see where in my life I'll use medical training. I'll use navigation. I'll use communication. So I thought, this is where I want to be. And I think at that stage, two things I realised. One, I'm definitely not academic. I'm a hands-on, monkey see, monkey do. And two, the military could be the way I need to be, where I want. I liked it. I enjoyed the discipline. I enjoyed that camaraderie even as a young kid. And so as that went on, my mindset, again, still going towards trying to be a tough guy in the West Midlands, fucking fighting and getting in trouble. At the age of 13, I then fucking stupidly glued the maths teachers to the chair in school, thinking I'm fucking great, and I'm throwing out of school. I didn't care, because I thought, I don't care about school because it's English, crossing T's, dotting I's, maths. I'm never going to use that shit. That's where I thought, I know where I'm going to go. So I didn't go back to school, really. Then the age of 15, life turned upside down for me. I ended up in a fucking fight. The fighting and the gang stuff is getting really bad. I'm boxing, so I'm an half-decent fighter now. And I'm fighting grown men, and it's getting really out of hand. And then one day I end up in a fight with a couple of brothers, and I end up getting stabbed and almost died. And that was the point, when I'm in hospital thinking, what the fuck am I doing? Looking not so much about me, because I'm still thinking half mine, I'm a tough guy, lying in hospital, looking at my family and seeing what I'm putting my mum through, my dad, my brothers and sisters, and thinking, what a fucking dick. I've got to get away from this. And then I focused all my energy then on getting into the military. But rather than go back to school, I ended up working in a factory at 15, night shift. I ended up in an accident, burnt all my legs on caustic soda. That then stopped me getting into the military at 16. So I was then, I didn't know exactly where I wanted to go, but I knew the military's got to be for me. And I wanted to go wherever it was as a junior leader. And then this accident happened, and it took over a year for it to heal. So I was now 16 and a half years old. I'd been to the careers office, didn't really know where I was going to go. And this was now like 1982. The Falklands War had just finished. And I'm still in the cadets. We have a party for all the lads who'd gone before me into all different regiments, from the Marine Cadets into all different regiments. And we had this party. And like I say, I'm still unsure of where I want to go. And then at this party, I'm talking to all the lads who've just come back from war and listening to their stories. And they're all great. Marines, signals, medics. They're all telling me about what they did in the Falklands. Over on the far side was a bloke in a wheelchair with plaster pads from his waist down. And he was a paratrooper. And I got talking to him. And I didn't know him, but I knew his son, his brother. His brother's in the cadets with us. And I listened to his story about Mount London, 3-para on Mount London. And I was like, fucking hell. That's me. That's where I want to go. And that was my deciding factor then to go, right, once I got my legs sorted, I'll go to the careers, I want to go in the Parachute Regiment. And that's what I did. So I joined Parareg in 83, now left the streets of Walsall as this little fucking idiot, scumbag kid who thought he was tough. I'm never in a real man's world. I'm there, never been out of Walsall. I'm now in Aldershot, Browning Barracks, 1983, stood on that parade square looking down thinking, what the fuck have I done? These are all now fucking serious people, and everybody seemed bigger and strong. And actually they were. I was just gone 17, skinny as hell, and these are now grown blokes, looking like you, big lads, tattoos, moustaches. The guy next to me was 24 years old. He was a jock. I never met a Scotsman. As soon as he opened his mouth, I fucking shut my pants. I was like, but the lesson I learned on that day, having left Walsall was I didn't want to go back to the lifestyle I had because I thought I will die, you know, and I can't put my family through it. I want to be somebody decent, and my mum and dad can go, I'm proud of him because of this. I'm stood on that parade square looking at all these people thinking I'm out of my depth, but also looking at my depot instructor, a guy called Scousman Jerrison from 2 Para, who got shot in the Falklands, got a scar on his face. I don't know if you know him. Fucking, he didn't even open his mouth. I just looked at him and I thought, fucking hell. I had so much respect for him. Stood there in his maroon beret. And everybody with us had the same respect for the NCOs in front of us. And I just said to myself, the way I feel looking at him right now is how I want people to look at me and feel the same. And I said to myself in my tiny head, this is going to be fucking horrendous. I might not make this, but I'll tell you what, I won't be giving up. They're going to have to throw me out that gate or I'm dead. I am not going back. I want to be one of these people. And that was my transition then from my growing up days to thinking I was a tough guy. I think this is the way to be, and it wasn't. You know, it's easy to say it now, but I think back then, if I'm honest, I knew it wasn't. And we all do. But I was quite happy for my mum to say I got him with the wrong crowd. And actually, I was the fucking, you know, the sooner you acknowledge that, the better fucking person you become. There's nothing wrong with going, as a kid, going rogue. You know, dip your foot in the water, have a bit of fun, but no, when you're affecting other people and other people suffering because of you, then fucking stop it. So there I'm now, as of the childhood phase all through. I'm in depot para, just about to start training. Got so much respect for these people in front of me. Amazing. To that point.
So like, obviously joining Power Reg 83 straight after the Falklands. I know a few people. There's a lad in the fire service that's not long retired. He joined 83, and he said obviously difficult times. It's hard enough joining Power Reg. My story's not too dissimilar to yours up until the point of joining the Paras. In a lot of trouble, got glassed at 17, decided to join the Paras. But yeah, it's like 83 straight after the Falklands when you've got all these hairy-ass paratroopers knocking around that I've been to war. Not a scary place, right?
It was, mate. It was fucking, you know, there was no room for bullshit there. These people are fucking proven people. They've been to war. They were ardent people. They were fucking good people, and they were taking no nonsense. It was tough, mate. You know, going through training is hard, as you just alluded to, is fucking horrendous anyway. And then these fucking instructors who are really fucking pushing you, ain't taking no shit. And then after training, going to the battalion, everybody had been to war, but a couple of fucking, you know, and I was one of those crows who hadn't been to war. It was hard enough settling into the battalion anyway. Then you're coming into guys who are proven. It was fucking tough. But depot was great. You know, I enjoyed it. The instructors were amazing. 70 of us started, 7 of us finished. Originals, you know, a few back squads to boost it up, which are great guys. And most of the guys that we passed out with had more or less a fucking 20-odd year career, you know, other than a few people, I think. So it was amazing. It was tough. I look back at, you know, P Company at 17 years old. Fucking hell. That was fucking horrendous. I don't think, if I'm honest, I don't even think selection was as hard as that, you know, because I was such a young kid as well. It was fucking horrendous.
I think that's the thing. I had a 3 Para veteran on from Mount Longdon. Actually, funny you should mention, you talk about Longdon. He was a veteran on Longdon, and he said he was young, 16, 17 when he went through depot. And he says that is the hard part because you're not fully developed. You know, like the guys that were 21, 22, they kind of found it a lot easier. I was 17 as well, and I found it really, really hard because you're not developed, are you? You're still a kid, really, mentally and physically.
Yeah, absolutely. You are. You're still a fuck. I look back at those pictures now. At the time, you think you're somebody, which is good. It's a good thing to have. You think you're fucking cock of the world. You think you're a man now. You can do this. You know, once you get through the training and stuff, as you're going through it. But
I've lost you. I've lost you there. The signal's gone. But
look at the pictures. I'm like, Jesus Christ. I really wasn't. And that was half years. You know, it's a good standard. I was really fit, and I was not prepared for this. You know, it was just fucking so tough. Everything, physically, mentally, emotionally. You were just being pushed to your limit as a kid still. So it was shaking that childhood out of you to become a man. And yeah, it was tough. When I went for SAS selection, if I round it all up, selection was fucking horrendous. But for a short period of time, and hardest thing I've ever done in my life, that was it. Those 3 days at P Company particularly were horrendous. And, you know, everybody talks about P Company because it's well known. Advanced Wales, fucking hell. Yeah. That was horrendous, you know. February, dug in the middle of fucking Sandy Bridge or wherever we were, Brecon. It was fucking horrendous, but it was tough. I enjoyed it. It was, you know, I felt as you do when you do something hard and you get to the end of it. At the time you're doing it's horrendous. You get at the end of it, you feel you've achieved something, and I certainly felt like I achieved something there. You know, going through depot, it was just the hardest thing, that's the same, but enjoyable at the same time.
Yeah, I've been quite like speaking to people about kind of obviously P company is hard, it's really, really hard, but then you get the exercise, which in your day would have been advanced break, and it was called dynamite mold, the exercise, when we kind of did it, and it was in Otterburn. But again, February, dug in for 5, you dig a trench, don't you, till you kind of height of the tallest man, you don't stop, you don't sleep, you don't fucking do it. It's just, I remember coming home after a long weekend and my hands were in like plastic gloves with like antibacterial cream in there, and my mum bursting into tears on a long weekend because I was just in I was in shit state. So it's horrendous, and people don't understand that part, that it's not overly publicized compared to P company, you know.
No, I mean, you didn't have the best kit either, you know. I remember lying behind the GPMG fucking in the snow on a stag position with a fucking KF shirt on and not even a Gore-Tex, a fucking plasticky type fucking piece of shit DPM waterproof, which wasn't waterproof, you know. And the kit was horrendous. DMS boots and putties. We were the last platoon to go through with DMS boots and putties, you know, which were fucking useless. It was just hideous kit, you know. Going back to it was tough, you know. I'm not saying any less tougher now, even with equipment, because it ain't. It's still as tough for the kids today, you know. It's just a different world now. But when I look back at it, I think, fuck that. And then doing the, you know, I'd say the advanced Wales, digging in on Brecon and all that sort of hardship. And I remember looking and thinking, when I got to battalion, we jump forward a bit there, and we come back to where we are. But getting to battalion, and then after coming back from Bleeds, we did an airborne assault onto the Salisbury Plain, a brigade drop, which was amazing to be part of. And then digging in, fucking tabbing for about 30 miles with fucking half your house on your back and the GPMG and ammunition and everything else. And then digging in all through the night. And I remember looking over. I'm still only 18 years old, looking on and seeing the sergeant major. And now, at the time, he seemed old. But at the time, he seemed old. But really, he was probably only about 33, 34. And look at him. And I remember digging through the night, looking, going, fuck that. I am not doing that at his age. I ain't doing this. But there you go. Just 27 years, I'm still fucking doing it. It was crazy.
Yeah, I bet.
Great day.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah. So how long did you do in Paris then before you decided to go to the dark side and become a super hat, as Phil Campion called it the other day?
Sorry, mate. There was a bit of a break there. Say that again.
Yeah, the signal's dropping out, mate, a little bit. You're kind of going a bit all over the place. Yeah, I was going to say, so how long did you do in Paris before you decided to go to the dark side and become a super hat, as Phil Campion called it the other day?
Non-ferocious. I did 9 years in the parachute. I did 7 years in the battalion, and the last 2 I was posted back to depot, Browning Barracks, as an instructor. And that, after that, I decided was then when I wanted to go into selection. And what happened? I was supposed to go on one of 91, which was the end of my depot tour of 2 years. And the OC there at the time, Campbell, I think his name was. We used to call him Wobbly Gob. Pain in the ass. I didn't like him. He turned out all right in the end. But anyway, he wouldn't let me go. So I put him for selection the year before, last year of depot. Everything was cool. And literally about 3 months before I was supposed to go to selection, he said, you've got into depot. So I ended up doing 2.5 years. But it was fine, you know. And then I went on one of 92, the first selection of 92 on the winter course, which was fucking horrific, but an enjoyable time when I look back now. So yeah, 9 years in the Parachute Regiment, and in that tenure of being in the regiment, I did tours of Northern Ireland, or a tour of Northern Ireland, Cyprus, which is part of the UN, which it's classed as an operation, so it's fucking not an operation. Belize, Oman, you know, fucking Kenya, I think, all over the place. Yeah, I did quite a few good tours with Parareg, and it was. If I look back, you know,
sorry, but Belize is a good one, isn't it? Because for your soldiering and stuff and sort of honing your skills. Again, I was having this conversation the other day with someone about it, about like the jungle itself is horrendous and probably put you in good stead for the jungle phase of selection. Really, I know it's different. It's like primary and secondary jungle, isn't it? But still, it's still the same sort of principles, isn't it?
Well, it is, because I mean, it's hard to explain to somebody that's never been to the jungle, because life's about perception. When you say the jungle, you'll think about it, if you hadn't been there, what you expect it to be. Think about the desert, you know. So my vision of what the jungle was going to be like before I'd even been there was, you know, fucking, I'd only seen Tarzan. So I thought, it's quite glamorous, you know. After walking past all this shit. Fucking hell. When I got out there to Belize, because that was my first, after depot, that was where the battalion was. It was horrendous. I was like, Jesus Christ, you know, it was 100% humidity. So you literally, it's like you just walked out of the shower. Literally, everything was fucking dripping. In a sweat, you know, you got fucking sweat rubs under your arms and neck, and fucking everything's crawling all over you. The noise, which no one ever talks about, the noise in the jungle is horrific. It's fucking deafening. You know, it's like, I always say it's like being on Tesco's car park and kick every car at the same time and every alarm go off. These fucking creatures buzzing, and you're like, what the fuck? And then the claustrophobic of it, you know? You're like, what the fuck? How do you fucking navigate through this? Everything looks exactly the same. You know what I mean? So close. But it took a while to get used to it. It was petrifying, you know? You got creepy crawlers everywhere. You got fucking snakes trying to bite you. You've got trees trying to fucking stab you and poison you. Everyone was trying to kill you. Nothing wanted you there. It stunk. You stank of piss all the time because of the ammonia. And then all of a sudden, you know, having been out there, been there for a couple of patrols, and we're carrying live rounds. I've just left depot. Now we are carrying live rounds. We're doing proper border patrols. I would say that was more of an operation in '84 when I went there than fucking Cyprus was, for sure, you know. And we had a bloke killed out there. We had people fucking in a firefight on the border with the old drug pushers. It was a good time, but it was fucking tough. And initially I thought, I don't really want to be here. This is horrendous. This place is going to kill us if no one else does. And then it grew on me. You know, that's 6 months before, or 5 of the months that I did, because we joined a month after. Over 5 months, I was, like you said, being taught by good people, good veterans who'd been in the Falklands, so they had a lot of knowledge of conflict and stuff, and they were good people, good soldiers, and it grew on me. I fucking loved it. By the end of it, it became therapeutic to me. I fucking loved it. And I ended up doing, before I went on selection, about 4 jungle trips back to Belize, going out as an instructor, helping out the patrol card, and went out there to Para, and we helped work with them. It was fucking brilliant. And I love the jungle. And actually, of all the jungle, all the environments I've worked on and operated in, the jungle is my favourite. It's just great. And I finished off my career in the jungle out in Brunei as a sergeant major, you know, after selection.
It's a kind of,
yeah,
the jungle. The jungle, sorry, we keep kind of putting off there because of the signal. But yeah, the jungle is a bit love or sort of hate thing in it. It's a bit like Marmite again with the whole. And there were some guys that do the Belize trip. I did a Belize trip, and I was quite happy that I was done with it after. I enjoyed it, but I was quite happy we were done with it. But there were certain blokes that loved it, and like you say, went on and become JWIC instructors and all that, and literally spend all their time. They just loved it. And I never had that kind of love for it, but I can appreciate how it kind of sort of makes you a better soldier. Definitely makes you a better soldier for everything: navigation, admining yourself, the whole wet and dry routine, taking your wet kit off at night, putting your dry, and then putting it on in the morning when it's gopping and cold. You know what I mean? So
it does, mate. It gives you a lot. It teaches you a lot about yourself, your personal admin as well. Your awareness, you know, you fucking start to really tune in visually, hearing things and smells. It really tunes all those skills in that you take for granted at the time, but you use them somewhere else. You know, after you come out of the jungle, you're so aware, and fucking everything is just in 3D almost. And then you come out to a place and go into track, and you fucking notice footprints, you notice things unturned, you notice the unusual, because you've been so used to scrutinizing at such a close environment. You know, the skill sets of the jungle are amazing for your soldier, and they really are. You know, you've always got your weapon in your shoulder, you're always watching where each other are, you're aware of your arcs, everything is tuned in really tight. And then those skill sets you're using in every other environment. and just adapt what is appropriate to whether it's the Arctic or the freaking desert or the European terrain. It doesn't matter. But the skill sets for, and that is why SAS selection is run. SAS selection is the jungle. That's it. You know, you do the mountains, but the jungle is where they really choose you. And that ain't actually for the soldier. That's actually for who you are, because you can't hide in the jungle. You know, if you're uncomfortable, you're fucking uncomfortable. And I know it's a cheesy cliche, but get comfortable with being uncomfortable. If I don't like using that, but if that's the place you do. You know, well, I'm fucking here. I'm sharing it with leeches and spiders and everything else. So what? Putting your wet kit on, stinking a piss every morning in the dark. He just becomes, okay, I've got it. No big deal. And he crows on you. But like you said,
have you gone? You there?
By the end, still here, mate.
Hold on. Yeah, you're back.
You good?
Yeah, good.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, mate. The internet sucks in this place. I don't know what the problem is, why it's so bad.
No worries. Yeah, so obviously, like I say, the jungle, you either love or you hate it, and but it would have set you up quite nicely, like I say, that you did enjoy it, and then you went on selection. And the weird bit is with selection, I've never done it. It's a big regret. My military career is not having a go. Don't know whether I'd have passed it or not. Probably not, but it is what it is. But it's the people that kind of went on selection. Some of the fittest and most switched on soldiers I've ever met, but then failed, and you're like, I don't get it. So I think selection, well, you'll probably tell me more than anyone, is like, it's beyond fitness, isn't it? It's more your mental capacity and what your mindset's like.
It's exactly that, mate. I'm glad you asked that, Chris, because I ended up, I did selection. I was a DS on selection as well, so I know exactly what it's all about, what they're looking for. Now, the thing is, everybody in the military, particularly Paratrooper Marines and sort of, the elite of the infantry side of life, know about selection. It's been going, many people have been on it, failed it, many people go on it and pass it. It's the hills phase, Brecken, fucking a month of tapping over the hills. Then it's the jungle. Then it's fucking continuation training, combat survival, and then CT training prior. So everyone's got an idea because people talk about it. And for whatever reason, everyone, even I think today, still thinks if I can get over the mountains, I'm fucking done because I can soldier. It's no big deal. And I did exactly the same, and everybody else on my selection felt the same. All the Paratrooper lads, everybody. So you go, and then I thought, okay, got over the mountains, over the hills, and then I thought, oh, fucking jungle's fine. I love the jungle. It's great. So I kind of let myself into a full sense of security. But then when I got there, fucking hell, it's not like the jungle I've done before. The SAS selection in the jungle is not about soldiering. Not at all. You could be you could have been a bloke from the postal service, a veterinary service, the Navy. Never really done much soldiering. They don't care. What the jungle is about on selection, about you. Who are you? Because that's what they're looking for. Not what do you look like and how tough are you. We're not looking for the fastest, the fittest, the strongest, the guy who looks the fucking part. Far from it. They're looking at you. And they're literally, and I hate saying the word break you down. They don't break you down. They peel you back to your raw self. They're looking to see how your true colour, your true character is going to shine in arduous situations, because it's going to get hard. Now, the jungle's 5 weeks long, and you can't hide yourself. You and I know DS watchers and people who fucking bullshit and all that shit. You're patrolling along, the fucking DS is watching, they're all like, weapon in the shoulder, and they're all looking out for each other. The thing with selection is you're being watched all the time. No one says a word about it. There's no encouragement, no discouragement. You're not shouted at. The DS just pops up nowhere, just watching you. And they'll concentrate on everybody in the patrol. Like, you're in my patrol. I'll watch you for this day, see how you're acting with other people, how you got carrying out your basic drills. It doesn't matter if you make a mistake. The truth is, and no one ever talks, we want you to make a mistake because we want to see how you then recover from that. That's the important. That tells us a lot more about you than you getting everything right. What is he like when the chips are down and he's fucked up? Can he then say to himself, I fucked up, I won't fucking repeat it, I'm going to get on and move forward again? Or does he start beating himself up, fuck it, I fucked it, and then become, which a lot of people do. So that is what the jungle's about. The other thing about the jungle is physically, what a lot of people, and I guess Belize was a little bit early, but the fucking jungle in Brunei is like Brecon. It's like the beacons in the jungle. Somebody's put a load of.
I've heard that. I have heard that.
You're literally going up and down, and they purposely put your base camp, you know, in a place away from the schoolhouse, so you have to go every morning, go for every leg, every evening to clock. Fucking hell, it's like a 3-day camel ride through the jungle just to get to the schoolhouse, and that wears people down because they want to see how you do. You snap of it, or do you stick with it and go, so what?
Yeah.
And that is why it's difficult, mate. And the other part, like I say, on that phase as well is, I've alluded to it, there's no encouragement, no discouragement. So no one's going, you know, the DS is going, okay, you're doing okay, no problem, no, fucking get a grip yourself, start moving. Don't say a fucking word, and that fucks you up. And you can put your up at any time and go, I'm done. Where you can't do that on any other course in the fucking army, particularly Para-Reg. You're on 10 mile, you're finishing that fucking 10 mile. And that fucking push and drag you to get there because you're staying as a team. On selection, as soon as you feel tired, you're having a bad day, and you go, I want to go. There just comes in, okay, mate. Cheers, Chris. Drop your Bergen off. Get yourself up to the LS, mate. It's as simple as that. And because people have had that option, it's about self-motivation to say, fuck that, I'm staying. They got it. Blokes have never been tested that way. And that was hard. You know, I ain't going to lie. There's many times I felt like going, oh, fuck this, I'm out. And you see people in your patrol, like you just said, people on selection with me, I was looking, I fucking know he's from 2 Para. He's a fucking great soldier. Half of them didn't even get to the jungle. And it wasn't because of their fitness, it was because of that.
Yeah.
They talked themselves out of it, and they had an option they never had before. And it doesn't make them any worse. It just is what it is. They're fucking, some of those people are better soldiers than I'll ever be. And I was like, fucking, how the fuck has he gone? But particularly the jungle really sifts that out. You've really got to want it. And it's not about impressing the DS. It's about not impressing. Be you. Be yourself. You know, all right, I fucked up. Find a solution. That's what they're saying. Okay, how are you going to deal with it? Don't fucking wait for me to lead you by the hand or him to take. What are you going to do about it? Yeah. And at least try. And people go, you know what? That kid's got character. And that's what you end up with. People come around, how the fuck is somebody from the RAF getting the somebody from the Navy? Special Forces comes when you get to the squadron. It's a fast learning curve because you're doing real live operations with people who've done a lot of shit. And there's no better knowledge than following somebody with experience and travel and actually doing it. We can all fucking talk about it. We can all prepare to go to Breck and learn how fucking orders are done. But unless you're actually doing it and seeing it and using it, it doesn't really mean a fucking lot. And in the regiment, that's what it's like. So they're looking for a person who can be molded. Because when I went to the squadron, which, you know, we could talk about it a bit, I was expecting blokes like yourself, fucking fit, big, fucking, and mate, there's fat blokes, thin blokes, fucking all. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? These fat fuckers, and I was like, fucking hell. And then it penny drops. It's not about an image. There's no fucking image in the regiment. It's about that, you know. And it was a real fucking learning curve, and that's what selection is all about, and that's why the jungle is so much of the window into the regiment.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I suppose I can relate it. I can't relate it because I've never done it. But what I was going to say to you, do you think it's a bit like the whole boxing thing with getting in a ring and talking yourself out of it? Because there's a stigma around selection. Everyone knows about the SAS now. It's it was obviously years ago. It was a bit more kind of cloak and dagger. No one really knew about it. The Iranian embassy siege kind of changed that a little bit, didn't it? And then suddenly, obviously, for soldiers, it's the holy grail of soldiering, isn't it? It's like every soldier should really, if you're a kind of, that should be the pinnacle of what you want to do. It's the holy grail. But there's such a stigma around it about it being hard. Do you think maybe people talk themselves out of it before they get there? Like boxing, people turn up for weigh-ins, then have 6 hours before they fight and talk themselves out of it. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely, mate. You just nailed it. It's exactly that. People then fucking fear it. You know what they fear? Failure.
Yeah.
They're scared to be told and they're scared for their mates to think, fucking hell, he's a failure from selection. I don't think everybody stigmatizes people with that. You know, people kind of respect that. Okay, he went on selection. I think for particularly Para-Reg lads as well, if you fucking fail early, like on the fan, or then your kind of reputation. That guy might have been injured. You start thinking, "Okay, I'm not good enough. I'm making a fool of myself." And that's what they're looking for. Somebody who goes, "I don't care if I make a fool of myself. I'm going to have a fucking go." But you're right. Most people, not most, a lot of people do talk themselves out of it. Just like you say, you know, you're fucking about to fight, you do the weigh, and you look at them going, "Oh, fuck that. Find an excuse not to fight," or whatever it is. It's the same sort of mental blockage and problem that people have on selection. And it's not encouraged. It's kind of really difficult for people on selection who can't self-motivate. If you're the person who's a great soldier and a great bloke to have around, but you have to fucking shake him every morning to get him out of bed because he's fucking always pissed. But once he's out, he's great. You can't afford to do that. You can't have those people. You just can't. Because, you know, the nature of the work, you're fucking in shitty, horrible places, and everybody's got to be on the fucking game all the time, you know.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely. So,
yeah.
I suppose the whole selection thing. When you got to squadron, then obviously you passed selection, you got to your squadron affairs. How different was it compared to the Green Army? Because again, I know quite a few lads. One of my best mates is like ex SF. And they say like it's weird because it's not like the Green Army at all. It's completely different.
Oh mate, it is. It's an all new world. You go into this world thinking, where the fuck what's they doing? What's going on that you find yourself getting involved in? I mean, there's times I wasn't even in a uniform for fucking nearly 2 years. I'm off doing all, and it's the people, you know. And as soon as you get there, like I say, my first thing, I had an image. This is what I'm expecting to see, and it wasn't. It kind of threw me for a bit, but then I started, you know, watching these guys planning operations, and I was like, fucking hell. You know, the big fat guys coming out with political situations, and watching them all put this jigsaw together. I thought, fucking hell. It was amazing to see it. None of these Brecken fucking tab books out. It was all real, you know, and from day one of getting there, last shit certainly didn't in my fucking time, and I'm pretty sure they don't do it now. I turn up on like day 2, there's an operation going down, and the fucking sergeant major, who I thought was the cleaner, fucking standing there, goes, "Right, fucking operate." Tells us about an operation, you know, real operation. He goes, he looks at me because I'm the new kid. He goes, "You're the new, yeah, Billy." Or he goes, "Billy, how are we gonna do this?" He's asking fucking me. And when he just got there from Paratrooper, I'm like, "Fucking shut yourself." And everybody's looking at me, and I'm like, "Fuck." But that's the regiment. They expect everybody. So what an idea? And I threw my bit in there, and it probably took a bit of that. Okay, cheers, thanks for that. And that's the beauty of the regiment as well, is because this whole new world, everybody's got a voice right from the start. You know, so you're new. I may have done, you know, like Sergeant Major's hundreds of fucking operations, but it's a changing world. The new kid's just come in. He's got another way of thinking, and that is the beauty of the regiment. It's not one dimensional. We're all fucking Paratrooper, we're all Marines, we're all fucking Navy. It's the Navy guy's got a different way of thinking here, and you put that into a melting pot, and you go boom, you get an amazing result of fucking planning operations and all that sort of stuff. And then it comes down to doing the business, and the business is real. You know, you're fucking in amongst it, and you're like, fuck, you know, this is not bullshit. And you're in small numbers. You're always fucking outnumbered, and it's just different world. And 1 minute you can be on operational stuff, you know, and it could be fucking, you're doing all sorts of shit. And then in between all those operational type things, they're going on all over the fucking place in countries I've never even heard of for a start. And fucking hell, you know. And then you're attached to a group of guys to support for something else, and then in between all that, you're on courses that you never dream of doing. You know, a fucking chainsaw course. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing on a chainsaw course? You know, I'm on a fucking, I don't know, electrician's course, or I'm on a fucking medics course, and there's a reason behind all of it. So you've got these skill sets of operations ongoing now or coming up. Languages, you know, I can't even speak English. And then I'm off down to Beaconsfield for 14 solid weeks of learning Serbo-Croat. I was like, fucking hell, you know, I left school at 13, I couldn't even fucking write. And now I'm learning, you know, a dialect of fucking Russian. I'm like, fucking Jesus. But that's it. It's crazy. I always describe it as the regiment is a crazy train. You turn up, you get on the crazy train, and it fucking goes at 1,000 miles an hour, and it stops off all over the globe in different places doing different things, whether it's war fighting, surveillance, fucking gathering, humanitarian. You get off, you do fucking great things, you get back on, and you fucking keep going. And then eventually, you move a cabin at a time up through the train as you grow, from a trooper to becoming, and then you steer in the fucking train, and if you're lucky enough, you get off it, and that's it. You're out. You're done, and you've got all these memories and all these crazy stories and all these things you've done. Or unfortunately, if you don't, your name goes on the clock tower, and that's it. That's how I always describe. That's what the regiment was. It was just bonkers, amazing. I look back at some of the things. I fucking chuckle to myself sometimes. So like, someone will remind me of a certain place I've been in an operation. I just fucking laugh. Go, fucking hell, how the fuck did we do that?
How do we get out of there alive, kind of thing? Yeah.
You know what though, Chris? If I'm honest, I don't think I ever. You look at the situation, and go, fucking hell, I don't really want to be here. We are fucked. And then you go, fuck it, let's get on with it. And this goes back to that person who's. You look at the situation. We're outnumbered. We're in a fucking bad position. I can't really think at this split second of how the fuck we're going to get out of it. But you know what? Fuck it, I'll find a way. I'll have a fucking go. Not fucking go into panic. Go, right, okay. Might be outnumbered. Let's think back to, let's try this. Let's try deception. Let's try this. And so it fucking worked. But that's what it's about. And it's a fucking great world, mate. And you do some brilliant stuff. And I know people go, yeah, the regiment ain't the regiment anymore because people write big. But let me tell you, 99% of the stuff you do, you fucking don't talk about. You don't. There's no need to talk about the operational side of it. There's no need to talk about, the planning and the secrecy. There's enough fucking. And we're in an ever-changing world as well. Back in the days of the embassy, we had fucking Kate Aid with a BBC with a camera this big. Yeah. Now, everybody's got a fucking phone. Everybody's accountable. Nobody can hide anymore. Even in the fucking regiment, you can Google a name, a family name, and you'll find, protect the brains of an archbishop. Go, he's in the fucking SAS. Oh, he's here, he's there because of somebody's seen you somewhere, or something's happened. So that's the way the regiment is. You have to embrace the change. The secrets and how you operate should never go out there. And they don't, generally, So that's the ever-changing face of the regiment. But the regiment's still the same. The mentality of the people that's still going is still the same because it's about that character. And you'll know, and I know, mate, I must have seen somebody go on selection, right? And you go, fuck it, he's got no fucking chance.
Absolutely.
You fucking so-and-so passed. That's the same thing in the regiment. Not everybody is great. They look at you. The string of fucking operational requirements for the regiment is fucking massive. They look at me and go, I'm a fidget. I would not be good on the surveillance fucking shit and then going on to the debt over 14 inches as it was then. That's not me. He'd be good at going through the fucking door, not being afraid to fucking lead, not being afraid of do you know what I mean? So everybody gets, you don't get categorized. So they kind of categorizing you, but they go, yeah, it's got something that can be used, but it's a fucking pain in the ass to work with. No one can work with.
Yeah.
So it goes right back to that. So you're doing these crazy fucking operations. This whole new world has opened up. The people are different. Everybody just gets on with it. Everybody accepts you. You're not a crow anymore. You can become a crow in terms of, all right, fucking somebody's got to go and fetch the alpha bags. Right, Billy, go and get because you're the new bloke. But you're not a crow in terms of when we work, when we operate. And, right from the word go, it might be one of the jobs we actually did was not attritional warfare, but was typical para-rage fucking assault. And I just turned up on the para-rage and they're like, fucking hell, do you want to lead this, mate? Because you're fucking fresher than all of us. And that's how it is. You go, right, okay, this is how it's going to work. We're going to fucking drop off a fire support, point of fire, fucking assault. And they go, okay, got it. Billy, you fucking lead it. So that's how it works. So, and it's brilliant for that. But the type of work is just, like I say, you could be in fucking uniform. 1 minute you can be a foreign uniform. You can be undercover. You can do. It's amazing. It was brilliant. I had fucking one hell of a roller coaster ride. I had one of the luckiest careers, I think, in the regiment from the time I joined because it was all war footing from North to Bosnia to Kosovo to Macedonia, fucking Middle East, Far East. There was shit. If I'm honest, I probably did more operations than I fucking should have done. There is a time when you have to take a break and do more training. It was just the way it was, and it was, you know, I look back at it and I think everything I wanted to do as a soldier, I did multiple times, and I'm lucky enough. And lucky is a fucking big word because it's true, to be here to talk about that shit.
Yeah, it's it definitely sounds. I've heard that off various people about the differences and everything else. And like, it was interesting going back a little bit when you said about, like, because when you're Power Edge, you come through and you're a crow, aren't you? No one trusts you to do fuck all. You just kind of stand in the shadows and no one says anything to you. But obviously, you go on selection, you pass selection, you go to squadron. You're already a proven soldier, aren't you, by then? You might have 12 years in your respective unit, and then you turn up at a squadron, you've prove yourself on selection. So, you know, but yeah, to be literally like, right, you're running this, fucking hell, that is daunting though, isn't it? It's a bit like, with all these guys as well that are like hairy arse SAS troopers that have been in for years, probably been on counter stops, and then you're like a young spunk bag, like, fuck me.
It is, mate. But you know, you're like, fucking hell, and then you start to believe in yourself without, you stay humble, because, and then you realise the next bloke up's probably got more to tell you, or somebody else, and you know, we've all got different way of thinking, and the beauty is there's so many different ideas all put into the pot, and it's, whoever's running the op just sits back and goes, you cherry pick. Yeah, I get that. That's knowledge and leader in the regiment. You know, I mean, it was fucking the best job in the world. You just fucking delegate the blokes to fucking do the job, and you don't have to look over the shoulder and go, "Have you done?" You fucking get on with it. You as a leader in the regiment is just fucking let the train run. If the train starts to wobble, all right, let's get those fucking, stop it a minute, tighten those wheels up, let's go again. That's all you have to do as a leader. The fucking blokes will lead it and do it, you know, and they're trusted to do it. There's none of this fucking micromanaging and having the bloke in your team because you like him. He's actually fucking shit and falls asleep on stag, but he's my mate. There's none of that shit.
I suppose that comes back though, like you said, they did to the self-motivating stuff on
job, because you're fucking, you can do the job and you're gonna do.
Sorry, I think we signal went again. Then are you back?
Yeah, you've got to give your 100%, get up and do it. Same as with the fitness, you know, you fucking, in the regiment, you generally don't do a lot of organised fitness. You know, like Power Edge will do a 10 mile together, you do the CFT. Power Edge, in the regiment, you don't. You fucking just do your own fitness. But I'll tell you what, if we're fucking jumping into somewhere and then we're tabbing fucking 50 miles over the mountains, you fucking better be there. So you better be on top of your game, you know? Because if you ain't, you're fucking gone. You're out. It's left to you. You can drink all night. Like Power Edge can. You can fucking drink all night and still do a 10 mile, but that's fine. As long as you can do it. As long as you do the job. I mean, blokes do keep themselves fit, you know. And all the ops, you know, on ops, you know, you fucking sleep deprivation, food deprivation, you're fucking physically fucked. Your mind's ticking at mind. So you're keeping yourself going all the time then. And then training, fucking all the training exercises always end up with fucking half killing yourself, half scaring yourself to death, you know, and really being pushed to the limits. So yeah, it's a you know, it's a mad old world, but a fucking good one.
Awesome stuff. Yeah, obviously you can't divulge anything about your ops. I didn't expect you to, but so you did. Obviously, you worked your way up through the ranks. 20 years roughly in 2-2.
Yeah, it's actually more than that, because I ended up doing 5. I joined in '92. I officially left in 2015, but that included 5 years of what they call LDET, you know, reserve. I didn't fucking do anything over that time. I go in camp every now and again, quite often, play enemy for this, give a bit of advice. I don't count that. So I really count up until the day I handed over the squadron, really, which was in 2006-7. You know, the operational side of it. Then I went to Brunei as a sergeant major of the Jungle School. Then back to London as a sergeant major of HAC, and that was me really. I'm fucking done. You know, you've handed over the operational torch. You have to at some stage. But I did LDET, so yeah, over 20 years with the regiment.
Was you ready then? Was you ready for a change by that point?
Yeah, I was, mate. I didn't want to admit it. You know, when you hand over the squadron, you know, we were on some fucking amazing operational stuff. And the guy come up, Army ex-Para Reg as well, say he doesn't matter. And the ops were fucking fantastic. And I thought this could end the operational side of it any fucking time, like it does. You know, it goes through cycles. So I stepped out the breach and let Bob take over the squadron a little bit early. So he got some of the fucking leading the action stuff. And I remember coming back to Hereford after handing over the squadron and knowing there was a couple of real fucking meaty ops in the pipeline. And then getting the call from Bob, and I was like, fuck, why did they do that? But then, you know, and then you hear a little bit, the lads have done this, that's going down, and you know things are going on. It's fucking great shit, and you're dangerous shit, but great. And then there comes a sensible period where you just was fucking out school, you know what, to be able to walk out of it.
I think I've lost you again, mate.
So I missed the blow. Yeah, you know, you miss the blows. You do miss the ops, but your time is your time. You know.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So obviously, I've been to see one of your shows. Came down to Loughborough. You probably don't remember. We got all like my white watch from Mansfield Fire Station. We all came down and watched and got a photo with you. But obviously, you talk about obviously your close protection stuff after. I did the CP circuit after and went on the hostile thing. Did you do any of the hostile stuff, or did you just go down the kind of celebrity kind of route?
I mean, we did. I did a bit of the hostile stuff in the regiment, you know. So the military looking after generals in Bosnia for the fucking, you know, the signing of the fucking war declaration, all that sort of shit. You know, which, you know, it was all right. You did quite a bit of the old BG type work in the regiment, and then really when I picked it up properly was after I left, you know, going down the celebrity route, and that fell into my lap really because I was testing the water, feeling about, you know, thinking about leaving, you know, when the time was right. I thought, what the fuck do I do? You know, all we ever do is security anyway. And a mate of mine was running a security, still is actually running a security company which looked after A-lists and VIPs, and he asked me to do a bit of moonlighting, which I did. And I did a bit of moonlighting. I liked it. I mean, I thought, fucking easy. You know, it's, all you got to do is all the skill sets you've got anyway, from planning to organising to, and it was good money. And I did a bit of moonlighting. Thought, yeah, I could do that. And then when I left, the first job I got was with, you know, Angelina Jolie, Brad Pitt, and it was fucking weird because I hadn't really considered the, you know, the lifestyle, what it was really going to be like. All I was thinking was, I need a job, and fucking hell, that pays good money. I can do that because I'd already done a bit of security stuff. So then when I left, it was like, fucking, okay, I'm in this job. Then all of a sudden you're like, boom, you're in the fucking spotlight. You've gone from all this time in the regiment, no one knows who you are. You're not an electoral role, fucking great, and two, boom, fucking hell. Everybody's questioning who is this bloke? People part in a magazine even back then. Who is this guy? We think he's fucking James Bond, SAS, MI5, fucking people writing all sorts of shit about you. Like, fucking hell. And everywhere you move, photographs. And it was fucking intimidating and daunting. But I needed a job, you know? I needed to fucking work. And I actually enjoyed the job. I just didn't enjoy that side of it. So it took a long while to get used to it. But yeah, so that was really my first sort of line of work when I left, was CP work, BG work.
Yeah, I hear a lot of, like, obviously, again, I was on the hostile side of it, and I heard a lot of guys that went on the celebrity kind of side of it, and I heard sort of not necessarily horror stories, but like, you know, because some of the celebrities can be a bit of a pain in the arse, and you end up being sometimes a bit of a glorified fucking carer for them, so to speak. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Did you ever come across that, or was you? Because I think you've spoken it before. You was on like pretty good, well, really good contracts with decent people. So
yeah, mate, I'll be honest. You know, I'm not a celebrity fucking type person anyway. It's a person I'm working for. That's my client. This is my job. So that never bothered me anyway. And I wouldn't take any shit off any of them. I never had to. That's except for what, well, I had one sort of bad time, but everybody I worked with, it was a mutual respect. I mean, you know, when I first worked with Tom Cruise, I worked with all these people. When I first met them, okay, I know who you are, I know what you do, but I was saying, this is who I am, this is what I do. What do you want me to do? What do you need? God, okay, and you know, you fucking show me respect, I'll show respect. I wouldn't let them fucking talk to me like a piece of shit or any of this shit. Fuck that. If they tried any of that, I'd fucking pick them up, and no one really did. They were all very respectful. Because, you know, like I say, you're gonna get your shit done because I'm doing my shit. But I ain't doing it if you fucking treat me like a doorman. When people say, "Oh, I ain't no bag carrier, I don't open doors," well, I'll tell you what, you know, and I know, even in the hostile world, if you don't do that, then you ain't got a fucking job. Because you will have to open doors. You will have to carry a bag for somebody. I did carry the kids sometimes, but to me, it's part of the fucking job. I didn't mind doing that. You know, that was fine with me. I had a job to do, and people go, "Well, you've got a bag of something in your hand. How can you protect it?" Quite fucking clearly, I'll throw that bag in your face and jump all over you, cunt. If you can't think outside the box, like, yeah, oh, well, yeah, but you're there with an umbrella. Yeah, that umbrella's going to take your fucking eye out. You know what I mean? So it was like, I never had any I was able to, well, you know, I'd look at a crowd of people. You back?
Yeah, I mean,
you know, I'd look at a crowd, and under no illusion, I cannot really protect you against fucking all these lunatics if it goes mad. You know, but that crowd of people are not there to be mad. They're there to like your client. There's always somebody who wants 15 minutes of fame, and when you're bodyguarding somebody, that's what you're looking for. Who in that crowd is not fucking smiling? Who in that crowd is? And that's a skill set you've learned through the military. Okay, that doesn't look right. That bloke there just looks fucking angry. Everybody else is. Let's take a wide berth around him. So you're doing. That's how you're operating and working. And I would with my clients, which is going to come on to, like you were just asking about, you know, how you were treated. If my client were to walk towards, I would grab her hand or grab it and go, "No, you ain't going there. I'll explain." And they never question me. I wouldn't get into any shit. I go, "No, you're not doing it. Or you go on that way." And then I fucking tell them, right, the reason was this. And they went, "Okay, great, thanks for that." Never had any issues. The only time I had any issues was with a rapper called DMX. I don't know if you know who he is. He's a rapper unfortunately, you know. I mean, he's good at what he's done. He was a rap artist, and he did a bit of film work as well. He was just fucking rude. And actually, just down the road from where I am in this hotel, I put him in a taxi, slammed the door, says, "Fucking look after yourself, I'm done," and walked off. Yeah. He just wouldn't listen to me. He just, you know, had this fucking weird mentality. He was a little bit high on something he was smoking, I think, as well at the time. And I just thought, nah.
well,
he was being disrespectful, and I thought, I don't need your fucking money, mate, and I don't need your job. And what I didn't want to do was ruin my reputation by you not listening to me. We're getting fucking jumped because of what he wanted done.
on again.
Well, I wouldn't be able to protect you. I can't fight fucking 20 blokes. Ain't gonna happen. But you back, mate?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like you say, it's you don't need it, do you? And it's I've had clients that say, not celebrities, like site managers and stuff that are used to escort around sort of Iraq and places like that. And it's the same sketch. They just kind of, you get the ones that just do what they want and totally fuck you off. Your advice, like I say, you're there to observe and weigh up the situation, aren't you? And look for things that are out of the ordinary and pick up on them. But again, I can just imagine some celebrities being a bit more like, well, I could do what I want because of my status. Obviously, you just spoke up on there. So, yeah, it's a bit of a difficult one, isn't it? Because it's your reputation. If anything happens to that celebrity while you're in charge of them, then that'll be it. That's your career done, isn't it? In that sort of world.
You have to be on top of your game and have luck every fucking second you work with them. As soon as you fucking, somebody else gets their luck, you're fucked. You know, if somebody throws a cup of acid in your client's face, that's you fucked. If you know, and you're the likelihood for it happening is pretty slim in most cases. But at that level, there's always somebody who wants that 5 minutes of fame, whether it's just embarrassing them, jumping, throwing paint on them, or fucking scratching them, or like these fucking weird oil people and all this shit that goes on. You know, they're a great target for people like, because they're going to get so much publicity. So you've got to be on your game, and if you get that wrong, your reputation is down the fucking pan. You know, 99% of the time you're working with them, nothing happens. But you can't let your guard down. You can't become complacent. And you always have to remember, no matter how friendly they are, they're your client. They're not your best mate. They're still your fucking client. And if you start letting your guard down and becoming complacent, you definitely fuck out. You know, so you've got to always have that balance. But you've got to have a good. You have to have a good rapport with all your clients. You know, you have to talk to them like we're talking. Swear when you feel comfortable. There's none of this standing. You know, fucking
Lost you completely about.
Curly. You don't get that information knowing having a reputation. You there, mate?
You went off for quite a while there, mate. I lost you for about 30 seconds.
Oh, sorry, mate. Sorry. I was just saying about you have to have a real good rapport with your clients. You know, you need to know everything about them, and that's why that world. It's hard for people to, you know, get the right bodyguard, privy to so much information, and they've got to be able to trust you. You know, everything, fucking clothing, their blood group, to their likes, dislikes, political views, even. Not to say you have to agree with it, but you have to know where they're going, so you know. Are you there?
Yeah, you keep going, mate. Keep in and out.
Hang on. Let me see if I can. Hang on. Let's see if. Fuck. Mate, you there?
I mean, I can hear you. I just can't see you.
Can you see me now?
Nope.
Oh, Jesus. What's going on? Any joy?
No, you've proper gone. Have you turned your camera off by mistake? Pressed it or something?
No, I haven't, mate. Now my camera's on. I can see you clear as a bell, mate. I can see myself exactly as we have for the whole.
Hey, are you back?
Back. Yes, no.
Yeah, don't know what happened there, pal. Well, so yeah, moving on from that, what I wanted to talk to you about is your charity. Obviously, you're kind of really kind of out there with your charity and that. Just explain that to me and how that's sort of come about and where you are with it.
Yeah, mate. Being in the military, Paras, SAS, you become a very charitable person, as you know. Hearts and minds is about everything, stopping people suffering. So, after I left the regiment, you know, probably like yourself, I've done loads and loads of charity, box for charity, run for charity. Never really followed it through or really took a lot of, you know, interest in it, other than raise money, help somebody. That's what you think, but never followed the roots of what charity really was and what it meant. Anyway, after leaving the regiment, doing the BG stuff, set up our own business, and we were in Iraq. We had a security business in Iraq, and one night there was a news flash, and it was an earthquake in a place called Haiti. And you know, and I know, you see, you know, these news flashes. You just listen for a minute. What's going on now? It's a bomb in London. It's this, whatever it is, catches your attention. And this caught my attention because it was a massive earthquake, and the numbers of people that died in it just didn't ring true to me. You know, I was like, fucking hell. Long story short, over 200,000 people died in this earthquake. And I'm listening to it and thinking, that's horrendous. And then because we had a successful company and we built everything around support and giving local people jobs and charity as well, I thought, we've got to do something about it. And me and my business partner agreed we should do something, not send money. So I did some due diligence on Haiti, which is in the Caribbean. For anyone that don't know, it's in the fucking news at the moment because it's in a bad place. And at the time, we were building camps for the Americans, as well as doing security, building the old porter cabin camp type things. And I spoke to a friend of mine who's on the ground in Haiti a couple of days after the earthquake happened. Had a good chat with him, got some ground truth of how bad it was, and it was horrendous. And he said, look, we need everything. He says, but what we really need is buildings. we can't go in buildings, it's too dangerous. So I then spoke to the team of our team, our planning team, and said, right, design me an hospital out of these fucking porta cabins. And they came up using 47 of these flat pack porta cabins, an hospital, you know, with a sort of reception, a triage room, treatment room, operation room, recovery room, all planned. So I went, brilliant. I'll then go get into Haiti, go across there, take one with me, a lad called George from Para, who was working for us at the time. Get into Haiti, have a look at ground truth. You get this fucking donation all packed up and onto a ship and sailed across. I'll meet it and give it away to somebody as a donation. In between all that, we had to have somebody to donate it to. So we found a British charity, met them in London before I quickly saw. I flew from Iraq to London, met the charity, and then went to Haiti to their team on the ground. That was the plan. Anyway, get out there. Turns out that this charity was fucking bullshitting. They promised they could do this, do that. By now, we've set sail with, which was costing us a lot of money, about 200 grand altogether to get all this stuff across to Iraq and all this. And it turned out that it was bullshit. So I'm now on the ground in Haiti, seeing the ground truth, seeing fucking bodies everywhere, people crushed under buildings, bodies being brought out, still alive as well. All this mayhem, and it really was mayhem. You know, I always describe it as Bosnia after the Bosnian War on steroids. It was fucking horrific. And now I've got this donation on its way across the ocean to Haiti, and I've got no one to have it. Long story short, I bumped into the actor Sean Penn, who was out there at the same time setting up an NGO and helping Haiti, and he did a great job as well, by the way, and still out there helping today, believe it or not. He then took the donation. So in that period of time of being there, trying to do the donation, leave, I end up meeting who is now my wife, my missus, and we got talking about, you know, the situation there. And at the time, I was like fucking getting food to the orphanages, getting vehicles to the orphanages to get them out and get them mind taken off the horrible stuff going on, getting beds to them, medical kit, all that. We sat down talking, and we were talking about charity and all the rest of it. And she was on about setting up a charity. And then she educated me to what it was all about. You know, charity, as I do talk about, and you've heard this before, it's about giving. It's about, you know, giving yourself, giving knowledge, giving equipment. But then it's really about giving dignity, giving dignity back to the people, allowing them to stand on their own 2 feet. And the way to do that is obviously give them education, give them job training, give them a job. That's all they wanted. So over this period of time being there, the donation now went to Sean Penn, which was used brilliantly as a school and an hospital. I decided to stay in Haiti, and between me and my wife now, she really set up a charity of our own called Rebuild Globally. And it's still running today, you know, 15 years later, and we're still having a lot of the same problems, raising money and all that stuff. So we run a charity called Rebuild Globally, which is basically kids who've got nothing, generally orphans of poverty more now than it was of losing the parents. You know, these kids, we give them an opportunity to come through school. We pay for all the schooling, we pay for their uniform, we pay to get them to school, we feed them while they're at school. But they have to do the whole fucking school curriculum. They have to do the whole course of 4 or 5 years, and they have to pass the exams. And since we started this, we've never had one kid fall out. They want it so bad, and they've all gone through the program. So my job, the way it works is, my job is to raise the money, raise the awareness. Not just me, but my missus, but mainly that's what I do. My platform, when I do the talks and I sell the raffle stuff and all that money goes to the charity. And it keeps these kids going through school, and still going today. Now, after leaving school, they get a choice. They can either go on to further education, or they go into job training. Job training, learning to drive, use a forklift, use fucking cutters, sewing machines, all that sort of stuff. That takes a period of time, and that costs money as well. So part of the money that I raise as well goes to that, to allow them to get that training and use the equipment. And then if they get through that, if they haven't gone into further education, which most of them don't, because the colleges and unis are not that good out there, although some have, most of them go, finish the job training, and then my wife set up a business in a brilliant factory, solar paneled, mainly run by women, and she employs them. And they make kids' shoes for schools, which is going really well. They make women's products and bags. I've got my own travel line, and all that stuff. And my wife even today takes a very, very small wage. She actually didn't take anything for about 5 years anyway. And all that money then supports the people of Haiti, the kids, and keeps the whole thing going. So that's what it is. So it's 3 phases: schooling and education, job training, and a job. So it's a turnkey solution to ending poverty, giving them what they want, a chance to earn their own money, stand on their own 2 feet. And we've got kids who, you know, had nothing from an orphanage, living on the streets, who are now actually running the factory. It's amazing. Very well educated, running the whole operation. There's about 60 people in the factory. It's a proper laid out factory, beautiful factory, making beautiful products, which you can see online. And yeah, it's around the 2 main managers there, 2 of the kids that have gone, a female and a male, that have gone through the whole process. So it works, and it's still working today. We're still raising the money for it. Still, right now, Haiti's in a real bad space. Gangs, you know, the prime minister or president was killed 2 years ago. They've never had a proper government since. It's run by gangs. There's now been a massive influx of weapons. You can guess where they might come from. And gangs are fucking killing each other. It's lawless right now. Our factory still standing, still ready to be operational, but we won't let the people go to work because it's too dangerous. And the school's still standing. Everything's still in process. We're still raising money, keeping it going. What we're doing at the moment is trying to raise a bit of money to send out to the families so at least they can fucking survive over this period while they're not working. So that's what we're doing at the minute, hoping that some sort of implementation force, military or police, will go in, take down all the fucking gangs and get some normality back. So that's where we are at the moment with that.
That's absolutely awesome. I think it's brilliant that you put something back. Again, I was having a chat with someone else the other day, and he was chatting about you get to a certain age and like you've kind of done everything you want to do within reason, and then you kind of go full circle and almost start to think, put stuff back into things. So obviously, like yourself, what you're doing is putting, you know, a lot of time and effort as well as money into these sort of communities that really, really need it. And it sounds like they do really, really need it.
Oh, mate, they do, yeah. And it is, it's you know, fucking hell. Seeing the lifestyle we've had, the military, you see suffering, you see how people, and you know, to give fucking back is a nice feeling. I kind of, people ask me where I'm in my life right now. I am now, when I was 9 years old, I attacked the old man, I stole from him. But for whatever reason, he gave something to me. He gave me his time, his effort, and his knowledge. He didn't have to. I'm now that old man. I'm at the end of my fucking tether now, my end of my line where I'm now giving back because it's good to give back. Give somebody else a fucking opportunity. So that's where we are. Yeah.
Awesome stuff. No, that's absolutely brilliant, Billy. What you got lined up sort of in the future quickly? Because I know I'm conscious I've kept you like over an hour now, but
I'm you know, continue doing the charity stuff. Will continue and go on forever. We're still doing that. In fact, I've got a couple of military charities that I work with, Phoenix Heroes, which are brilliant. I'm an ambassador to them, so I'm going to do a little bit more with them over this year. I've kind of been off the gas with it. Royal British Legion, Scottish Heroes, Strong Men. I support all these people as well. Do stuff for them to try and raise awareness and money where I can. So I'm going to continue with that over this year. Right now, we're about to film another series of SAS wins, American version and the British. So that's happening in the next couple of months. I've just now got my own TV show with the BBC, which is SAS Police Catching Criminals. I can't really talk a lot about that right now, but it's fucking good. I really enjoy it. It's all live. It's real. And that comes out in June. So, yeah, I'm busy, really, really busy. And actually, that's why I'm down here now. I'm just running around ragged trying to get all these things sorted and finished.
yeah, fair play. Like I say, I has been trying to track you down, but now you've explained it all. I understand, and I feel guilty now for hounding you because I have been hounding you a little bit to get you on.
Welcome to your fellow paratrooper. You're welcome to hound with me.
Awesome stuff. Well, Billy, look, it's been an absolute pleasure. I'm so chuffed that you gave me your time. I know we've had a few technological problems there with signal, but that's always the case when you do these things remotely. But no, thank you very much. I'll have a quick chat with you off when I stop filming. But thank you. It's been absolutely brilliant, Billy.
Fantastic, mate. Thanks.